Welcome to Small and Supercharged Podmas, a series of chatty podcasts that were first broadcast as lives in the Small and Supercharged Facebook group on the run-up to Christmas. Each short podcast features a member of the mastermind group talking all about what they have got going on this Christmas. Listen, enjoy, screenshot, share to stories and share your support of these amazing small businesses. And equally, if you want to catch up with some lives, we have got them running all throughout December over in the free Small and Supercharged Facebook group. Just search Small and Supercharged and you will find the Burgundy group. I hope you love them. We're joined here by the brilliant and very festive Poppy Webber. Hello, Poppy.
Hello, Ria.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Just counting down until the children break up and seeing how much I can cram into that time window. I bet you're the same, aren't you? Because you've got two littlies.
Yeah, I've got two littlies and one biggie. The big one's left home now, living in his house with his girlfriend. So yeah, but he's coming for Christmas. So we've got a nice festive family Christmas ahead of us.
Oh, that'll be great. How do you manage it all when the kids break up from school? Because you're on the road a lot, aren't you?
I am on the road a lot. I have this Christmas off. So I'm off from the 23rd until the beginning of January. But I'll probably end up doing a day between Christmas and New Year of saddle fitting for like emergency ones that have to squeeze in.
Sure. So Poppy, can you tell us a bit about everything you do? Because you're not just Poppy Webber, you're not just a saddle fitter. Tell us all about the different things that you do.
Well, so I'm a full-time saddle fitter. So my day job is I saddle fit all day, every day. Literally, it feels like sometimes, certainly in this weather. And then on the side as well, we have a business called Hippo Horse Showers that I run. And then I also, over lockdown, got a little bit bored and started making some YouTube videos, which I also do that now. So I'm officially a YouTuber. I'm part of the YouTube partnership program, which is really cool. And then I'm on the second lockdown, got bored again and decided to make some leather care products. I also do that. So I run sort of like 4 businesses, I would say, probably. And yeah, they sort of tick along and take up an awful lot of time. But my day-to-day job is I'm a saddle fitter, a Society of Master Saddlers saddle fitter.
And what saddles do you fit? You're kind of independent, aren't you? Is that the correct term?
Yeah, so I think you'd call us independent. So there are some saddle fitters out there who only fit a certain brand of saddle. But I fit all brands really, so I will refit any one saddle, the majority of brands really, apart from like specialist ones like Wow, they have to have their own fitter. But on the whole, I refit everyone's saddles. I can reflock most people's saddles, do the air as well. And then I also have our own brand of saddles called Peewee Saddlery. That's another business. And then we also sell other ones like Arena, Bates, Wintec, GFS, some of the others. So yeah.
Awesome. And when you say, I'm technically a YouTuber now, your account has gone mad, hasn't it? Tell us about the kind of followings you've got, because you do these amazing lives. The dissection of a saddle is particularly etched in my memory forevermore. So please tell us a bit about that, and obviously the dissection of the saddle too.
Yeah, so I think the YouTube thing I didn't ever think would actually like monetize itself at all, because it's such a niche kind of subject. Like, how many people go on YouTube and search for saddle dissections? Not very many. So it's a very niche subject, and therefore I thought, and to get onto the partnership program you have to have a lot of what's called watch hours, and actually it's quite difficult to clock up watch hours because most people watch a minute or two of video, so there's quite a lot of hours that have to be clocked up. And you also have to have a certain amount of active followers and things like that. So I didn't think that would happen, but actually it's gone really well. And I haven't looked at the current stats, but I think I have about 3,500 subscribers, 3,500 even subscribers.
Yes,
and coming up to like 1 million views. And yeah, so it has gone really well. But like you say, the most popular one, actually, one of the most popular ones is the saddle dissection, where I found a maggot in a really disgusting, I had one of those Indian leather saddles, and I was trying to say, don't buy one of these saddles because they're really not very good for your horse, and here's why. And I dissected one, and it literally was the most disgusting saddle ever, and it went quite well. So, and that's a really long video, so that really helped contribute to my watch hours, because I think it's like a 20-minute video. No one watches videos for 20 minutes, but
I do.
Yeah.
I am glued to your videos. So I know, as you say, that saddlery, I think particularly, is seen as like a traditional subject, bit of a dark art, bit of witchcraft thrown in there that normal horse owners can't understand. But I think what you do really, really well is make it very accessible. Yeah, by actually showing us. So when people say, oh, these saddles are rubbish, or these saddles aren't very good, and you kind of think, yeah, it's because they're not as expensive as other ones. When you're taking it apart, you're like, oh my goodness.
Oh my God, yeah, they really aren't good. They are really, really unsafe, a lot of them. And I really want to like make that point to people that if you're buying a leather saddle new for less than £600-700, it's not made correctly. They cannot make something that cheaply and it be safe. So it was really good. And I think that, like you say about the accessibility and about making it a little bit more easy to understand, I think initially, there were a lot of people that were like, oh, she shouldn't be saying these things. And, they wanted to keep saddlery as a bit of a dark art. But actually, it's not a dark art. It does take an awful lot of training. And I think that initially people were worried, and myself as well. I was worried, like, if I do all this stuff and if I show people how to fit saddles and how to see if your saddle doesn't fit and why does this happen, why does that happen, are people going to think, oh, I don't need a saddle fitter? But I think the absolute opposite has happened. I think actually it's shown people that all these different things that we look at, we don't just kind of, you see so many adverts on Facebook, people saying, has anyone got a 17-inch saddle for sale? And like, actually, if it was just down to like, how long is my horse's back, then saddle fitters wouldn't train for 3 years hard. Like, we don't just train, we like really, it's a lot of work that we have to do. And so I think that actually, I hope that my videos sort of show there's so much more to it than just your horse takes a 17-inch saddle. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think what you said is actually spot on. I know that from watching your videos, I can go and look and know my saddle doesn't fit rather than going, yeah, of course it's fine, which would then encourage me to take an extra step. Yeah. So it's that knowledge that doesn't make me go, right, I shall get a need. I don't even know how you flock a saddle. I shall get flocking material and stuff. Although I think one of mine's air. Yeah. It doesn't make me want to do that. It makes me look and go, that's not quite right. I need to get that fixed.
Yes. Good. And that's the aim of them, really. And well, actually, if I'm honest, the initial aim was to kill some time during the first lockdown, because I was sat at home having worked 1 million hours a week every day, and like I went from 100 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour, and I was locked in my house for like months. It was weird, and I couldn't do anything. So initially it was just to break my boredom up, but then I actually realized this could be educational, and people are really genuinely interested, and people don't know the difference between a cob saddle and a normal saddle, and like all of those things are actually quite easy to explain on a video and show people, please stop putting these saddles on these horses, and please stop doing this and stop doing this, and get a saddle fitter. And I think the Society of Master Saddlers as well at the moment are trying to really push for people to get qualified saddle fitters out, because we all know, like, my area is absolutely saturated with saddle fitters, and actually, and I'm really busy. There's plenty of work for everybody. It's not about there not being enough work for everybody, but we really are trying to encourage everyone to make sure that their person they're using is qualified. And so a lot of what I say as well is, get a qualified saddle fitter. Here's how to find out if your saddle fitter is qualified. Here's how to find a qualified saddle fitter. So I think all of that is very important.
Because is correct me if I'm wrong, obviously I know you will, but a saddle fitter is not a protected term, is it? You don't have to have a qualification. So I could say I was a saddle fitter. I'm not.
You could literally go out tomorrow and set yourself up as a saddle fitter with no qualifications and no training whatsoever. And in the same way, you could become a massage person. You could go and become a horse massage therapist. It's not at all governed in, like, that's not a protected term. Whereas chiropractor, for example, is a protected term. You can't say you're a chiropractor unless you are actually a chiropractor. So with the Society of Master Saddlers, what they've tried to do is make the term qualified saddle fitter protected. But even then it's not, because there are other companies offering qualifications, but they're not the same. So we do always say go on the Society of Master Saddlers website and just pop in. There's a really good search function. You can put in the area you live in and that you want a saddle fitter, and a whole list of them will come up in your area.
That's really good to know, because it is important that when we do pay our money, and as horse people, our horses get all the money, but when we do pay our money, that it goes to the right place, so we get the right service, so it does what we want it to do.
Definitely, because it's a lot of damage can be done with an ill-fitting saddle, so it's very, very important.
So you said, obviously, in addition to fitting saddles from lots of different very, very cool brands, you also have your own range of saddles as well, don't you? How did that come about?
That came about, I don't really know. I think it came about just kind of like as the next obvious step, really. So because we do a lot of kind of made to measure stuff, and so we were making saddles to fit specific things, and then we sort of started designing. I started designing I always say we, and it's not we, it's me. I don't know who the other person is in this we. Me. I started designing like my own things, and then we got my own brand. And my saddles are made. I don't make my own saddles; they're made by Ideal Saddlery. up in Warsaw near Birmingham. So they make my saddles for me. I design them. I send them the designs. We chat them. We try different ones out, different knee blocks and stuff, and then people try them out, and then they go on the market, and then we sell them. But I do an awful lot of like made to measure. So if I go to something, for example, there's this one coming today that was for a very, very short backed cob, and we literally couldn't find anything on the market small enough for it, so like short enough for it that would also fit the rider in the seat. So that's had something made for it that's coming today. So there are loads of reasons why I might want to go for made to measure, but the most common currently is because people have a very short backed horse and they want to get a little bit more seat on it, and that's something that we can do when we're making the saddle.
But don't you also have like amazing details like hearts and different colours and really cool things like as well?
Yeah, so I always encourage people, because I'm quite a colourful person, I always encourage people, if they're having something made for them, to make it a little bit different. It makes it a little bit less stealable. I think it kind of says to people, I've had this saddle made for me. So sometimes we put different coloured welting around the edge, like, so the little bits like a seam around the seat, that's called the welting. We can do different colour there, and we have little funky things stitched on. So I delivered one yesterday, in fact, that had a lightning bolt stitched into the flap. I've done one for a horse called Star. We've had a star stitched into it. Yeah, so I do try and encourage people to be a bit different, because I'm a bit different, but sometimes people go for plain and boring, but
as long as it fits, that's the key part of it.
Yeah, but if it fits and it's pink, it's even better. So
absolutely amazing. So we have the third part of your business, I think we're at 3, is Hippo Horse Showers. Yes. So how did that come about?
That came about completely by mistake, if I'm honest. So I'm that person, I can't even have a gas cooker in my house, because my house would be ashes by now. I'm a bit crap with gas. I leave it on, and I'm just not very good with it. Then I really, really wanted a hot shower for my horse. I had a grey Highland pony. He was the filthiest little hippo you ever did see in your life, hence the name Hippo, by the way. And I said to my husband, I'm going to buy a horse shower for him. And I'm the sort of person, instead of buying something, I have to research and research and research. And because it was gas, I was a bit worried about it not being safe. So I did loads of research, and all I could find was things that had blown up or caught fire. And I spoke to my husband, who rather handily is a gas man. Well, he's a policeman as well, but he's qualified in gas. So
he's a keeper. He is a keeper.
He's the best husband ever. He's a cool dude. So, and he said, well, I'll make you one. It's just that they're using the wrong boilers. They haven't got this certain cut-off thing that they should have, and everything's wrong. So he made me one, and it was brilliant. And he put it on a little frame, and he made this little frame, and he sprayed it pink, obviously. And then my friend was like, oh my God, I want one. And then my other friend was like, oh, I want one. And then someone said, why don't you sell them? And so I thought, okay, we'll sell them. We might sell a couple a year. It used to take my husband hours to make one. So we thought we'd sell a couple a year. It'll give him something on the side to do. And then our first year went crazy. We sold 500 and something in the first year. So it was like crazy. And then we're like, so we had to do it as a proper business then, and we set it all up. And we now have them. We have the frames made down the road now by a nice little engineering firm, and then we have them powder coated, because Nick used to spray them all by hand, and he used to have pink nose hair all the time, and it wasn't attractive. So now we have them powder coated. It makes them harder wearing as well. And then we source some really good hoses, and we have these things made, and so we really do, I think, genuinely make the best showers for miles above all the others on the market. And they are more expensive because of it, but they are. We do offer a really, really a comprehensive, our warranty is 100% no quibble, 5-year warranty. If people get their boiler serviced every year, then it's a 5-year warranty on everything. That's even if a horse treads on a hose and makes a hole in the hose, we just replace the hose free of charge. So they are very well warranted, because we know that they can be, because there's nothing on them that we can't fix or replace. So they can come back to us for repair, no problem at all.
And of course, you can have them spray painted, can't you? In any colour, powder coated.
Any colour, including sparkle. We have a sparkle finish, which does cost more because it has to go into the oven twice. So it goes into the oven, has its colour on, and then it goes back in and has a sparkle finish. So they're quite popular on the darker colours, like black sparkle. Black disco sparkle is pretty cool.
I'm sure when you were at Your Horse Live a couple of years ago, weren't you?
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw some of the glitter disco ones on the stand, and they were beautiful.
Yeah, especially under the Your Horse lights, they look really cool.
And you don't think of a horse shower being a thing of beauty, but I have seen yours, and they are very, very cool.
Yeah.
And you do accessories as well, don't you? Like little houses to keep, little covers to keep them warm.
Yeah, well, we've had a problem with our covers, actually. So we've had a real bad problem getting them made. So we've tried a couple of local companies making them, and we've had a bit of an issue getting them made cheaply enough that we can sell them cheaply enough, because actually we're ending up selling them for like £100. I just didn't feel like they were worth £100 to sell. So we are currently trying to reevaluate what to do there. And the obvious solution would be to go to China and have them made in China for about £3. But we just don't want to do that really. So we're just currently in the process of trying to work out how to do the covers better. But we do other things, like we do little solariums now. We do like infrared solariums. So they're glass free, light free. So you don't waste any power on light as well. It's all heat, and it's infrared heat, so it doesn't heat up other things, so the things don't catch fire. So yeah, we do them. And we do like hose booms. You know, there's little bits of metal that your hose goes through, so your horse doesn't tread on your hose. So yeah, we do accessories here and there. But it's something that we do really need to build on. I think that we need to take the showers away from just horses and also market them for, like, I don't know, like window cleaners and dogs and campers, because it could be a camping shower really. It's you know, we do a model that doesn't even need a water source. You can use it out of a tank of water. So, you know, we could use them. You could use them camping.
That's really cool. Dogs would be good as well. I've got a friend with a spaniel who he spends his whole winter getting hose piped, and he's little. I mean, he takes it very well because he just comes back for a walk and he's just absolutely revolting. But as you say, getting hot water in a format that you can quickly use is really a pain in the neck.
Yeah, so like we have one outside our back door. When the dogs come in from a walk, we just hose them off so they really get. And hot water does wash significantly better than cold water, for sure.
Everything looks a lot less angry at you as well, I find.
Yeah, definitely. Horses definitely prefer it. I would prefer it, for sure.
Oh, I would not be cooperative with cold shower whatsoever. And the fourth bit of your business is your leather care.
Yes. So, and again, that was something that I set up over lockdown, and it's just I've always made. I have really sensitive skin, and I like my hands. I think working outdoors doesn't help. That, like, you know, my hands are always chapped and cold, and so I have always made my own like leather dye and leather like moisturizing stuff, like conditioner. So I just thought, well, hey, try and market that as well, and it's all natural. It hasn't got anything horrible in it. No stabilizers or anything like that. All like natural essential oils, and all plastic free as well. So we make little, which is another thing that's come from this. We make these funky little sponges, like little magic sponges, and they're made of recycled wood fibre. You dip them in water and they swell up, and they are like incredible as sponges, but then they're completely plastic free as well. So we also make them, and I have 1.5 tons of them sitting in my shed, which I need to somehow market on their own as well. So that's another business.
1.5 tons. Wow.
Which when you're talking about sponges like 1 millimetre thick, it's a lot.
That's a lot. So what products have you got in that range? And I know they also all smell amazing, don't they?
Yes, they do. So we have a lemon and peppermint soap, a chocolate orange conditioner, and an orange and geranium like leather balsam, which is by far my favourite thing in the whole world. And there's nothing in there that you couldn't use on skin, so you could basically use it as a hand cream if you wanted to even. It smells a little bit like a spa day. And then I also do ones that have got a little bit of dye in it. So often, you know, like when you saddle phase, sometimes black saddles, for example, the seat goes a little bit green or a little bit grey. So I've made one with a little bit, but if you put like niche dye on it, it looks horrible. It goes too black. So I've done some that have, again, I have done some that have got a little bit of dye in. So you put it on and you do sort of 4 or 5 layers, and it gradually dyes your saddle back again. So there, yeah.
And when it comes to what products you should use, should you soap your saddle more regularly than you should use balm or any kind of, I know, oils, something as well that people talk about. I know you haven't got an oil.
No, so oiling your saddle is a little bit last century. So we sort of recommend not to oil leather really anymore, because oil, basically it sinks so deep. Leather's like made of fibres that do this, and when you soak it with oil, you sort of stretch the fibre. So you can often see someone's tack that's been over oiled, and like the leather sort of stretches out a little bit and goes a bit baggy. So personally, I think one of the worst things that you can do for tack is to over clean it, which is like the worst thing to say when you sell tack cleaner. But I think over cleaning is the worst thing ever. I think only clean your tack when it's dirty, and then condition or balm or balsam your tack when it's dry, because it's a little bit like skin. You want to keep it like some moisture in. Well, it is skin, isn't it? Leather is skin, so you need to maintain a level of moisture in it, otherwise it dries out, and that's when leather starts to get dangerous, when it's dried and it's starting to crack.
Definitely. Faye, I think it's Faye, says, is neat's foot oil bad for leather, Poppy?
Neats foot oil isn't great when overused. In the days that we used to dip our bridles into neats foot oil, it's not good. So I wouldn't recommend that. Every now and again, so say you found a saddle in your attic that's been in there for 20 years and it needs a little bit of vava-voom and like a lot of moisture putting into it, then I think neats foot oil has a really good place in the market there. But overusing it and using it on an everyday level is not good. And also using it on new tack. A lot of people oil new tack because that's what we used to do in the olden days. But modern leather now is so full of its own natural moisture and its own natural oils that you mustn't over oil it. Also, oil rots stitching, so it's not good to slather on stitching. And most stitching nowadays is synthetic and a little bit stronger, but if you've got any kind of like cotton-based stitching on leather, oil will rot it.
So is it just something you would be like quite precise painting it on if you were going to use it rather than just dunking?
Yeah. So dunking bridles in bucket of neats foot oil is no longer done. No.
Well, that is good to know. Always useful to have tips that help you keep, because we know that good quality bridles and saddles cost a significant amount of money, and we want to keep them as good for as long as possible.
Yes. Definitely. They're expensive. They're a really expensive investment, but they also can last an absolute lifetime. Good quality tack will last you forever.
Faye says, a lot of new tack still comes with a label saying to oil it. That is interesting. And so balsam or balm is better than oil. Got it.
Yes, because balsam or balm, so like a leather conditioner will sort of moisturize the top layer of the leather. A balsam or balm will go a little bit deeper, whereas an oil, I think, just soaks in so much into the leather fibres, it can just make them too elasticy and too stretchy. And we think that we want soft leather. Everyone's like, oh, I bought this bridle and it's like butter, it's like beautifully soft. But actually, soft leather doesn't always equate to strong leather. So there's a point of balance at which you want your new bridle to be a little bit stiffer, because as you use it, it will soften up anyway. Whereas if you get something that's so soft to begin with, it will stretch very quickly, because softness means looser fibres within the leather.
That makes perfect sense, actually. You don't want loose fibres when you're trying to stop your horse and they're not really, your reins aren't communicating or something.
Because leather is cut from so we buy it as it's called a butt. We buy like a butt of leather and it's like half a side of a cow. And the leather at the top of that butt is really strong. It's long on the back of the cow. And the leather from the underside of the butt, like on the belly, is what you'd use for like keepers and things like that. And the leather on the bottom tends to be much more pliable and softer. And the leather on the top tends to be stronger and therefore a little bit less pliable.
So it's not that the leather is necessarily dry or stiff. It's from a different part of the cow that gives it that strength.
Yeah, the back leather is much thicker than the tummy leather.
Every day is a school day. It really is. So thinking of Christmas, because I can't believe how quickly that's coming up. It's a bit disturbing, isn't it? But still, it is what it is. What do you offer that would be great for Christmas? Do you think things like vouchers for horse showers, or what do you do?
So you can buy some vouchers for the showers. Obviously the leather care, we do it like a leather care gift set that comes in a really nice little metal gift box, again all plastic free, and that has like one of each and some extra sponges and things like that. All of those sorts of things would be good Christmas presents. This year we haven't done anything. We have done no Christmas advertising at all. And normally for hippos we're all like, oh, quickly, it's the last day of order before Christmas. But if I'm honest, this year, and it's kind of like, you see all of this pretty stuff in my life and you see all my Facebook posts and everyone thinks, oh, everything's amazing. Oh, she's so amazing. How did she do it all? But actually some years were a struggle, and this year has been a real struggle. We've had problems importing. So we've import our boilers from Germany. We had a container full stuck at Southampton for months. We thought we'd lost it. We didn't know where it was. We got really behind on orders. A member of our staff was nearly killed in a motorbike accident and nearly lost his limbs, and like life-changing injuries, and that was awful. And we had to find new staff. We didn't want to replace him because we loved him, but we needed workers. And it was so we've had a crazy year, and we literally only just caught up with the orders probably 2 months ago. And then we've got another load of boilers due in, which are now held up somewhere else. And so we think, well, we can't push everything, because we don't want to have loads of sales, because we want to make sure if people are ordering for Christmas, they get it for Christmas, and we won't be able to guarantee that people are going to get things for Christmas. So actually this year has been the first year that we haven't really done Christmas stuff. And also, I think, because it kind of snuck up on me a little bit, I was still waiting for summer,
Yeah.
And now it's Christmas, so where's summer?
No, I know.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important thing for like small businesses. It's like, you know, what we see on Facebook and everything like that is great, and it's all happy and it's all great. But actually, sometimes behind the scenes, we are paddling our little feet like crazy, out of control ducks. And that's the stage we're at the moment. Like in all of my businesses, the saddle fitting is crazy because everyone bought a horse over lockdown and everyone's buying saddles. Saddle manufacture has dropped to almost zero over lockdown. And now any saddle that is imported in, so some of the brands that I sell are coming from abroad, they're not coming in. Some manufacturers are quoting 18 months on a new saddle. And it used to be next day delivery. Yeah. So like the whole industry actually is a little bit kind of upside down. So, and because of that, it's just been very difficult to sort of push anything, you know, for Christmas. So this Christmas has been a different type of Christmas at Hippo and Peewee, I have to say.
No, but it makes perfect sense. You say if you're worried about not being able to deliver what people have ordered, not through no fault of your own whatsoever,
Yeah.
and pushing when you're still not sure you're going to get the components in,
yeah,
is really tricky. But perhaps it's a good opportunity for people to buy gift vouchers for people.
Yes, so we do gift vouchers, and we often will have people who on husbands mainly, if I'm honest, on Christmas Eve go, oh my God, if I buy a shower today, can it come tomorrow? And you're like, no. But in those cases, we'll often say to them, we'll do like a nice card with a hippo. We've made some cards with hippos on the front, like, you know, you've got a hippo for Christmas, for them to put under the tree so that people can still have a hippo under the tree, but just not a full size one. So yeah, gift vouchers is a good idea. Actually, you'll end up getting them in January when things are a bit quieter.
But also great because you get to choose like what colour you want it in there.
Yeah.
You can have it completely personalised and to your requirements rather than what someone thinks you might like.
Yes, exactly. So you can choose your colour and everything.
Gift voucher the way forward, team. If you're watching this and you're thinking of a Hippo Horse Shower for Christmas, get a gift voucher.
Yes.
They'll be delighted.
Yes.
Or get some leather care products, obviously, which are available now.
Yes, they're available now, although there's a backlog of them at the moment, which we're posting out this week. But yes, they are available now.
Awesome. If anyone's got any questions for Poppy, please do pop them in the comments. Faye says, totally agree, Poppy. Hopefully 2022. Is that how we say it? 2022. I don't know how we say that.
2022.
There we go. Let's do that.
Now.
That doesn't sound right, does it?
No. But not as 2022.
Next year, hopefully next year, there we go, is less stressful for many folks. I couldn't agree more. I was speaking to someone this morning actually saying that obviously 2020, obviously that all kind of went a bit wrong with COVID, but this year just feels very like heavy because we're still in it, aren't we? And it's hard.
And we kind of feel like we haven't really got the excuse to still be in it because like everything kind of sort of carrying on. But actually for a lot of us in business, the backlog, and I think Brexit's had a lot to do with it as well. So for our showers, we make the metal stuff. Our metal prices have shot up, and I don't know what that's to do with, but our metal prices are 3 times what they were 3 years ago. So at some point, we're going to have to put our prices up to cover that. So yeah, it's just absolutely crazy times. And like, I think that everyone, like probably the most common question I'm asked is, how do you fit it all in? And like, the reality is I don't really. I sort of manage and I keep my head above water during this year. And some years it's great, but this year is very much trying to keep head above water.
But you're not alone. I mean, I'm not going to show you around the office because honestly, it's a disaster. But there was a thing on Instagram not very long ago where someone had got like a picture of this perfect like I think it was a fireplace, I think, perfect fireplace presents. And then she just panned around the room and it was amazing. And you were like, yes, that is everybody.
Yes.
And I was going to my house and the kids have been there and you're like, oh my God, well, the kids obviously live there, but you're like, oh my God, how is there so much stuff? How can everyone else keep their houses neat? They can't.
They don't. Exactly. There's a really good girl. There's a girl on Instagram. Oh, she's that Geordie girl. I think she was on Geordie Shore or something. And she's really beautiful. And all of her Instagram photos are really beautiful. And she started posting recently her pot belly and her spots and things like that. And she's like, I know I look beautiful most of the time, but this is how I look all the rest of the time. Oh, what's her name? She's brilliant. And I just think that's actually true. That's what life is, I think. We put across this persona and, you know, but actually my life is spent running around and seeing the children over the top of my laptop. That's life.
Yeah. But as you say, I think when it's your business and it's your baby as well, and it means a lot to you and it obviously funds your life, you have to try and
everything
manage
in.
it.
Yeah, and it's just been a crap year. And like Faye was saying, hopefully next year will be better for small businesses. But I do think it's going to take a long time for the saddlery industry certainly to pick up.
Well, if there's an 18-month backlog in orders, it is going to take
Yeah.
a long time just to get back up to somewhere close.
Because production went down to almost zero for quite a long time over lockdown, and then everyone was buying horses, and people weren't going on holiday, so they were buying new saddles instead and treating themselves. So saddle sales, you know, went way up, manufacture went way down, and there's just this now balance of it's all out of kilter.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Can you tell us all the places where we can find you in all the places?
Oh, well, Instagram hates me, but I am on Instagram. / a day in the life of a saddle fitter and / Peewee Saddlery and / Hippo Showers. And then it's the same on Facebook, / a day in the life of a saddle fitter. That's me. / Peewee Saddlery. That's like the saddlery stuff. And then / Hippo Showers is the showery stuff.
And where do we get to see your videos? Because I know obviously you do YouTube, but you do stream as well, don't you?
Yeah, so the best thing for that is for YouTube, which is YouTube / a day in the life of a saddle fitter. And then if you do go on there, press subscribe and I don't know, leave it playing or something, because I get 0.1 pence per view. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
100 views, 10 pence. I mean, it's big bucks.
It's big bucks, but maybe we can help you make 10 pence this Christmas if we all get together.
It'd be amazing.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Said, haha, Poppy, you're the best. I think that was in response to you sharing the real life of life. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been brilliant, as I hoped and expected. And
Thank you for having me.
Hope you have some good time off over Christmas.
I will do indeed. Take care. See you all soon. Bye bye.